The Locked On Podcast Network presents the NBA Big 3 in 30. The 3 biggest stories in the NBA from our local experts at the Locked On Podcast Network. We bring you the real story, why it matters, what's next, who wins the big game, and more, all in 30 minutes. The NBA Big 3 in 30 starts now with the biggest story in the NBA.
They came back in regulation, they came back in overtime, and the Pacers beat the Bucks. They win Game 5. They're moving on.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast.
Holy smokes. Oh, my Lord. I need to use all the phrases. What an unreal, unforgettable game in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Game 5, down to the wire in regulation, down to the wire in overtime. The Pacers down 6 as the Bucks go to the stripe with 40 seconds to go. It looks dead. They look dead, and they win the game. A moment for Tyrese Halliburton, several moments for other players, an unforgettable game moment for the franchise. Yes, it's a first-round game, and yes, it was a ridiculous one. And Derek Kramer's going to join me today to break it all down. What just happened? How did the Pacers do that? They were down 20 in the first half and still came back. What just happened to Tyrese Halliburton overtime? What happened after the final buzzer? And so many more little notes from an insane game all coming today on Locked On Pacers. What just happened? Like, actually, what on earth just happened on this court behind us? Pacers beat the Bucks 119-118. They're moving on to the second round. And what many people in this building who've been around the Pacers for years and years, including the person with me, described as one of the craziest games they've ever seen. I have to put it up there very highly. Pacers down 7 with 40 seconds to go. They're down 6 late in regulation. They escape both scenarios and win 4-1 against the Bucks. I can't talk about it alone. I can't talk at all. I already tweeted. I'm out of words. Hopefully you're not. Derek Kramer from my Pacers blog is here. Derek, what just happened?
I like you just said it, and I can't. That was just unbelievable. Like, I still can't come up with words to describe the incredible amazingness that just happened. I'm sitting right by the scorer's table where Tyrese Halliburton was standing, screaming at the crowd as his dad's getting into it with Giannis after the game. Unbelievable, amazing final 3 quarters, final minutes of both regulation and overtime. Incredible resilience for them to come away with this win. And now they get a much needed break before facing the Cavaliers.
You can talk about the regular season being different than the postseason all you want. That's true. But the Pacers told us this in March when they had all these crazy close games, similar one against the Mavs, a couple against the Nets, a couple more where they said these situations will help us in the playoffs. And today showed exactly why, because this is what I asked Miles Turner after the game. You are down 6. The Bucks are headed to the free throw line with 40 seconds to go. How do you focus? How do you not just go, dang, we got so close in overtime? And he said, to paraphrase and not use cuss words, that they were talking smack and telling them that they're a championship team and they've done this before. And the Pacers were mad, and they had a perfect 40 seconds. I mean, everything had to go right? With less than 2 shot clocks, you have to get some luck, right? But they got it via a missed free throw from AJ Green. Andrew Nembhard hits a huge 3 because Andrew Nembhard threes when he's beyond 30 feet are automatic. So don't go so close to the line, Andrew Nembhard. They got a Gary Trent disaster pass immediately after that. Halliburton and 1. Why are you fouling? If the Pacers scored 2 points for the Bucks, who cares? And then another disaster turnover because Gary Trent loses the ball. All that had to happen to set up a moment. Like it was unlike anything I've ever seen, to the point that even I thought when they were down 6 and AJ Green was sitting to line 40 seconds to go, it's probably over, even though I've seen the escape artist Pacers do this many times of late.
It's really just unbelievable. I mean, I know I've already said this, but yeah, like the Bucks were talking smack, and that's they talked about the Pacers being front runners. Well,
I have a line for that later. I hold on front runner jokes. I've got a great one coming. Please continue though.
Yes. Miles wouldn't say who was saying it. We can imagine. Bobby Portis. Always talking. If it was Gary Trent,
I will take no guesses.
It was Gary Trent.
Listen.
Yikes.
He did say that it was players who said we've done this before and won a championship. Trent was not on that team, so it was the first 2 names you said are probably the more likely culprits.
You could tell Gary Trent had not done it before. I mean,
he earned the right to smack talk.
He was insane. Insane in overtime. 4 straight threes.
He was insane in regulation.
In overtime. Yeah, another 30-point game for Gary Trent in this series. Just an unbelievable performance, and then has the turnover, passing it after the trap. Drew gets the steal, and then the ball going between his legs. Just everything had to go right for the Pacers to win this game, and everything had to go wrong for the Bucks to lose this game in the final 40 seconds, and it happened. Like, that was the Pacers got their version of the Eastern Conference Finals game 1. Like, it happened for them this time.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. The karma swings back. But wait, Derek, what if I told you in regulation with 1:19 to go, the Pacers took a timeout down by 4, and they were down by even more than that in the fourth quarter. And another time they looked fairly dead. We haven't even talked about the moments, like the Halliburton moments that made this possible. But another time after Giannis hits that floater and is fouled with 53 seconds to go to put the Bucks up 4. Again, I thought, man, valiant comeback from the Pacers, but like Gary Trent's doing this, Giannis is amazing triple-double. Like, it's over, right? It's over. It was not, because they needed a lucky play. They got it because Kevin Porter Jr. decided to dribble for 14 seconds without passing to anyone for some reason and just missed. And Halliburton hit 2 free throws and then dunked it with 11 seconds to go. Like, a lot had to go their way that the Bucks kind of handed them, no doubt, but they had to make a ton of shots and free throws with their gifted chances, and they got every single one. I just talked about the Halliburton free throws, which he earned. The dunk, and everybody's going to say he should have been getting to the rim all game. Like, yeah, but also they were like trapping him at half court in the first quarter, and they could not get downhill at all. Like, as a team, something about the Bucks defense threw them off. I'm not giving him a pass, but whatever. The dunk got right to the rim and threw it down to tie the game. Huge moment, emphatic. Bucks had enough time for a shot, but they didn't hit it. And then late, when they were down 7 in the final minute, Nembhard's 3, humongous shot. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton said after the game, no one's going to talk about that play because they shouldn't. There were bigger moments, but huge. Like, for a guy who just had one rim out like 2 minutes before that, huge shot. Then Halliburton, after Andrew Nembhard steals the Gary Trent pass, just gets right to the rim. For some reason, the Bucks let him get into the middle lane. He went left. Well, AJ Green, you mentioned this to me after. Why are you fouling? Let him hit the shot. That was already a tough layup. Left-handed like that, that was an insanely impressive basket. Puts it in with the free throw. Massive shot. And let's talk about something major that happened after he made that. The Bucks could not get the ball in bounds, and they had to use their final timeout to avoid a 5-second call. That's significant.
And it would have been, if he didn't call the timeout, it was a steal by Nesmith.
Yes, they could not get it in. And then, of course, after the final play, Halliburton with the wiggle after the steal on the Gary Trent play, no timeout. And look at this. No one mad about no timeout when you score it. Everybody only blames it on the result. The starters were in the game. It was very easy, although Jarris Walker came out for Siakam, I believe. They were doing offense-defense subs late.
5 fouls on Siakam, so trying to avoid that. Halliburton
with the wiggle. They were switching in those moments, right? Siakam was setting all these screens for Halliburton, and that was either getting a mismatch for Siakam in the post that they went to almost too much, honestly, or Halliburton a mismatch for him to drive. In this case, it was Halliburton drive right to the cup for his 26 points. And look at that. The Bucks now out of timeouts. Yeah, they can chuck a full court shot, but it was over. I mean, they had to make all of those shots I just described and be out of timeouts because of that play and miss the AJ. It was unbelievable. I keep saying the same words.
Just count the number of times like Tyrese drove to the rim, both in regulation and overtime. Like, we've all been asking for, so like, you got to shoot the ball when you get that close to the rim. And he did it at least 5 times as they were making the comebacks. Rick Carlisle compared Ty to Reggie Miller after the game, just with his iron will, his body being very skinny, but very tough. And like, the game for me that it reminded me of was a Reggie game, the 2001 2002, when Game 5 against the Nets, when the Pacers were the 8 seed, and Reggie dunked through a couple people in overtime. He hit that giant 3. Like, the dunk that Ty had wasn't through a bunch of bodies, but you don't see Ty dunk in the half court very often, and you didn't see Reggie do that either. Like, 10 seconds left, he gets that to tie it, and then he just continues to go to the rim. He got a little bit 3 happy. They were good looks in overtime, but he got just a little too much when he was just getting to the rim at will, especially as he mentioned, like, they kept attacking Giannis because he had 5 fouls. So they felt like he couldn't be as physical because of that. So they kept going to that, and just unbelievable. Like we keep saying, just incredible performance. Other
shots or moments to me that will be lost to time. One is the steal that didn't happen that you mentioned with Nesmith, but he also in overtime gave the Pacers a lead with a tip layup that was just insane after a Halliburton missed layup that felt like a huge shot at the moment. Like, wow, I'm going to get to write about Nesmith. I didn't give him the lead. Did they? I can't remember. Right before Gary Trent his like millionth 3 in a row. That was a huge one. He also had a huge 3 late in regulation that like Neesmith quietly all series was just outstanding. I can't remember
12
when
rebounds today. 12 rebounds.
Yeah,
for
I
Neesmith.
can't remember when his 3 was in regulation. Maybe I'm tripping. It was a top of the key 3, but he had a layup to give him the
It
lead.
was
at
huge. It was
95,
there. I think they were
94.
down. I think they were down 6 when he hit that 3.
Yeah,
It
you
was
might.
right after the Bucks went up 6. The Pacers called timeout, and he hit a 3 at the top of the key, I believe.
I'm having a shockingly hard time finding it. It must have been an overtime.
There's
probably
too many
wrong
things.
sports
There's
for
too
that.
many things that happen.
Too many. Yes, there it is. 1:40 to go. That cut it to 3 after Gary Trent hit his 1 millionth -1 3-pointer in a row. Like it was, every player had to be like perfect and take advantage of the opportunities handed them by the Bucks. And the Pacers should have been better than this. Like Halliburton hit his first 3 in overtime and then just missed so many that like we've seen him make off the offensive rebound before. We've seen him make wiggle into his right before. And like it's bad that he missed them, but that, you know, in the moment you're thinking, man, you got to get a better look than that. And Gary Trent, meanwhile, couldn't miss. Like I got all the tweets about this is the Supermax guy getting outplayed by the minimum guy. Yeah, he got the last laugh there. But like it was certainly frustrating. They were not getting anything they wanted until the final minute, and the Bucks were taking advantage until they didn't. Twice. I mean, you can't really like fault them for anything they did except for the turnovers. I mean, the missed free throws, that happens, I guess. Giannis missing the game winner in regulation. Yeah, that happens, whatever. The KPJ shot with 26 seconds to go, you and I have talked about that, felt like a huge mistake in the moment, and the 2 turnovers, obviously a disaster. And all of that was needed resolve from the. We're saying the same things over and over, but like that's what the game was. It was those moments.
Yeah, like the Bucks did everything they needed to do to win this game. Like they hit so many like clutch shots.
Trent and Green,
so
14
many.
of 27 from 3. Crazy.
And Trent was 4 for 12 at the end of regulation, like 4 for 5 in overtime. Like it's nuts. Like the Pacers had no business like winning this game with all those shots that the Bucks were hitting. And like we said, just everything went right in those last 40 seconds, every single thing, and they finished it off. Like to be down 33-13.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going
in the opening minutes of the second quarter. Like they'd scored like a point a minute. Like Rick is telling them to just effing hit somebody because of how much the Bucks were just way more physical, way more sense of urgency. And they clawed their way back slowly but surely. And then they kept falling more behind at the end, and they never gave in. It's just amazing resilience.
There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute Major League Baseball showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA playoff game. Finding great seats, though, that used to be a challenge until Game Time. With last-minute deals, all-in prices, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Plus, ticket prices actually drop as the beginning of the game gets closer, so you can score amazing seats at a great price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
It should come as no surprise that after we bury the Nuggets deep in the cold, cold ground, they now lead the series 3-2 with an excellent chance to advance.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast.
So the Nuggets won by 16, and Nikola Jokic was a plus 18, which means that in the non-Nikola minutes, they were only -2.
And by the way, you factor in the garbage time where they were -4 as a team, so like the actual game time, Nuggets were +2 without Nikola Jokic.
That was absolutely huge. I felt very bad for DeAndre Jordan. Just very it's rough because I understand like he's an NBA player and he's supposed to perform. I get it, but I'm just like he's got no shot. He's got no shot versus Zoo. He is not in a place physically in his career we can do that. Like he does not belong in the series. That's why I've been like you should play Zeke. I think there's probably a place for DJ. And actually, there might be one for him. I'll have to look at it. I think there might be one next series, depending on which minutes he plays. If they get out of this round. But that was rough. But they got a boost from not only Murray scoring, but Russell Westbrook, 8 of 15, 3 of 6 from 3, 21 points. Ryan Blackburn, talk about Russell Westbrook, please.
Ryan, talk about Russell Westbrook in an extremely positive way. I don't have to struggle at that. Like, it's pretty clear the impact that he had on this game tonight. Started off a little bit slowly, but got into the flow of the game. And then in that second quarter, he really took off. Hit back-to-back pull-up threes because why not? And he also hit an and one with Bogdan Bogdanovic on his back, crying baby. Gosh, rocking the baby. What am I saying? He's rocking the baby for that. I don't. Matt, I am so tired. So it's no, he was truly great, and I noted this yesterday. The Nuggets had like 26 total minutes that they played for their bench in game 4. Russ played 25, 26 by himself tonight. And just having somebody that can change the pace, that can give a new look, that can provide a little bit of energy, but also just competence in general. Like, Denver's bench just has not been competent enough without Russ out there. And he has been a fantastic piece throughout this entire series, frankly. And when he's been out there and on point and doing the things that he's been asked to do, he has been tremendous at it. So credit to him, man. Like, he has stepped up in a big way.
Shout out to Don Dropper, who does Locked On Clippers. Great show. You guys should check them out and be nice. Be nice in the comments. I said it. Be nice. Be the fans you want other fans to be. Be the change we want to see in the online world. Don's great, and he got hassled by a Clippers employee tonight when he was trying to do a post-game show in the parking lot. So that sucks. So shout out to Don for fighting through that. As he did talk about how Jamal Murray said Jamal didn't like Dunn being drafted over him, and it showed. Yeah, Jamal made that very evident. He mentioned it like 3 times that Dunn was drafted over him. So he was very annoyed. And like, look, we said during the series, I said after game 1 and game 2, I said throughout the series, I was like, I'm telling you, I know what it looks like when Murray struggles. This is not Jaden McDaniels. This is not that situation. He's comfortable versus Dunn. He's got burst. He's got separation. He's just missing shots. And everyone killed him after game 4, which they won, even though he was good in game 3, but everyone else was bad. And tonight the shots weren't going. His relocation stuff tonight was so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some film work on it over at the Dig. It is chef's kiss. It is so good how he manipulated space. Look, there's 2 more games max in this series. There's at least 1 more game for sure. And the Clippers can get even because we saw what happened last year when Denver went up 3-2 and then went on the road to Minnesota. Minnesota punched them in the mouth, and Denver went, oh, all right, fine, we'll get you in game 7. And they almost did, but then they didn't. So, like, job's not done. They need to push for game 6. However, I will say, as this series has over the course of the last 2 games, I don't really know how the Nuggets have kind of solved most. I talk all year about solving problems. They've solved most of the problems that the Clippers have presented.
Yeah. And
they're no longer really caught off guard or on their heels by the Clippers. They kind of know what to expect and how to defend most of these actions and how to generate the looks that they want on the other end. And to me, that's really significant.
Can I pivot really quick? There's been a narrative out there of Jamal Murray not really showing up in the first 3 games. I don't really know where that came from personally. I thought that he was very good in pretty much.
Do you have like
those 3 games?
I must ask you, do you have like a whiteboard where you just write down the false narratives about Jamal?
Yeah. So it's funny, but it's something that I'm dealing with in the comments on Pickaxe all the time. And like people are doing the thing where they're like, if only Jamal was good. And like, I know that he had a bad game 4. I called him out for a bad game 4. He was horrible, or not horrible. That's a little bit of a stretch, but like he was pretty bad.
He had 8 assists.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yes. But like, again, it's playoffs. Like there's a different standard, I think, that's being applied. But like in the first 3 games, I thought he was pretty good in different ways in all of them, and just finding ways to be solid and contributing, especially in complementary ways, while Jokic is doing well, while Christian Brown is having his moments, while Aaron Gordon had 25 in game 1, things like that. So it's interesting, I think, to kind of see how this thing has evolved for him. This was the Jamal game. They needed at least one of those to win this series, and I'm glad that they got it here.
He's usually surly after he has great games, and he was just nonchalant tonight. That was like a little bit of a different form of it. The MO with Jamal and his pressers is if he has a terrible game, he's bubbly and kind of jokes about it and is like smiling and kind of laughing. If he has a great game, he's surly and mad and like, why would you ask that? What do you mean? And instead of this one, he was just like very nonchalant, like just competing, you know. It's a lot of fun to be out there.
He's doing his best to stay even keel
Yeah.
in this presser, especially after a really massive game for him. If he has a normal good game, he will be surly. I will, unless they win the series, like in the next game, and then he'll be like, "I don't care. I had 6 points. I just it doesn't matter. They won."
Right. No, I think exactly. It doesn't matter because they won. Yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the series. I thought the Clippers were winning in 6. I thought they were winning this game, and they were taking care of it at home. And them getting just absolutely mollywopped tonight has kind of like shifted a little bit of my thing because I'm running up against this thing of one. Okay, well, they can hit back and win the series when the game 6 in a blowout, and then game 7s are usually what comes down to shot variance. And who knows, and like Kawhi can step up in that moment, but just like also Kawhi's numbers and Dime, to his credit, like said this, shout out to him. And like the Clippers fans at the podcast I was listening to on the way home, same deal. They were all very critical of Kawhi Leonard for not taking over the game, as they should be. Because my thing is like, James Harden was terrible. 3 of 9, 11 points, 5 assists to 4 turnovers. James was terrible. You know what James also is? Older, on a lower contract, and not the best player on the team. You got Kawhi Leonard, and everyone wants Kawhi to buy into the Kawhi mythology. 20 points, 8 of 15, good. 20 points on 8 of 15 shooting is good. 11 assists. Didn't feel him at all in this game.
Yeah.
Did not put his imprint at all on this game. There was not a moment in this game where I felt like Kawhi had this game under control or that he was impacting it. He was just out there getting numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do because, like, is it possible that Kawhi has like a game 7 4 bouncer moment like he did versus Philly? Absolutely. Like that can happen. He can have a dominant game 6 and then like the game 7 that he had versus Philly and make another playoff moment for himself. That can happen. But I started the series and one of my questions was just like, who's your leader? Who's going to lead you? And I will say, like, the Nuggets, I do not know how we are here after we buried them again after game 3. But they're connected. Like, they are engaged with one another. They are, I know what this team looks like when it's emotionally connected, and they're emotionally connected. And the Clippers were just kind of there tonight. Like, they were just collecting a paycheck. And I don't know what that was about, but they were. I have seen this before, though, where one team comes out and they're so used to the games being a slog, and it's like you're in these like tight boxing matches, and you think you're gonna be working the body, and one team comes out and they're just dancing around and landing haymakers, and you don't know what to do, and all of a sudden you're on the mat. And that was really kind of what happened with Jamal's performance in this one.
Like he took the life out of them with some of these shots. And when you're a team, especially a veteran team like the Clippers are, and they've seen this before, they've seen what this looks like, they know that this is a game that they don't really have a great shot in winning. They put together a decent run in the fourth quarter, and then Jamal just kind of set the table again and put them to bed. He's like unbelievable game, and just one of those ones that reminds you just again that Denver is never dead when they have Jokic and Murray playing at Jokic and Murray peak levels. Like they can come up with ways. It doesn't take that much around what they're doing.
The NBA playoffs roll on, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. FanDuel makes betting easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. There's so many ways to bet your favorite player props or your teams, your sides, your point spreads. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance at even bigger payouts. Check out tonight's NBA playoff odds. The Warriors 4.5-point underdogs on the road after going up 3-1 on the Rockets. There's nothing like that urgency of an elimination game. The Lakers also on the verge of elimination. They're 5.5-point favorites at home versus the Timberwolves. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast.
The Pistons had their back against the wall. Had their backs against the wall. And in the fourth quarter, where they needed their superstar, where they needed their franchise player, who was struggling the entire game, Cade Cunningham was not hitting shots in quarter one, in quarter two, in quarter three. He was struggling the entire game to get his shot going. Now, he was playing good defense, and I thought he was doing a fine job of getting him into some offensive action, but he wasn't hitting shots. They needed him to step up. And what did he do? He had 13 points in that fourth quarter. Big-time pull-up threes, big-time shots at the basket, getting to the free throw line, 2 free throws at the end of the game to extend the lead to 3 to give them the chance to win this game and really close it out. Cade Cunningham came in and closed the Knicks out again at Madison Square Garden. Again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is now 5 times. Cade has went into Madison Square Garden and closed them out. 130 people here for the live recording. Love it. Absolutely love it, man. Detroit could have went down in 5. They could have went down after such a depressing and terrible way to lose game 4, with the refs coming out 30 minutes after and saying, no, we messed up. With the last 2-minute report coming out after the next day saying, yeah, we messed up. Where that quite literally would have won them the game. That could have been an easy way. Any team could have had an easy way to come out the next game and say, we're deflated. That any team could have showed up with deflated energy and not giving it their all after how the last game ended. And the Pistons came out, and I think, to be honest, they only won by 3 in this game, but this might have been the best game they've played. I feel like this was an exceptional game from them from start to finish. From start to finish, this was fantastic. Fantastic play from the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham, part of the difference in this series has been that Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, whether you like Jalen Brunson or not, whether you like Karl-Anthony Towns or not, whether you think he's soft or whatever, those guys had balled out in the fourth quarter. Whether you like it or not, they had come through for the Knicks over and over and over again in the fourth quarter. When the Pistons have a lead in the third, when they have a lead in the fourth, those guys had came up strong for them. What they needed, what Detroit needed, was their guy to do it for them. He missed the shot. He missed the shot at the end of the last game. He could have dwelled on that. He could have let that hold him down. He could have let that get him off his game. Instead of pouting and dwelling on that, he comes out the very next game with a chance to extend the series, and he does what he wasn't able to do the last game. He wasn't able to close out the deal last game. It is what it is. Not everyone bats 1,000. But he comes out the very next game, and he closes it out for the Detroit Pistons. He ended with 24 points. 13 of that 24 came in the fourth quarter. In a bad game for Cade Cunningham is 24 points and 17 shots, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block, a plus 13 in this game. Cade did everything you needed him to do in the fourth quarter. He came through and showed out for the Pistons and did what superstars and franchise players do. He outplayed Cat. He outplayed Jalen Brunson. He sent them back to the 3-1-3. Well, good luck, because game 6, if you thought game 3 was rocking, I promise you now, game 6 they're going to pop the roof off of LCA. And I'm sorry for everyone who everyone who's going to join me or loves joining me for the live watch parties, which this last game, we had 120 plus people in there. It was so much fun watching this game with you guys, but I'm sorry to break it to you guys. I won't be there for a watch party in game 6, because I will be at LCA, and there really shouldn't be anybody available for a watch party in game 6, because literally every single person in Michigan, in Metro Detroit, in the city, on the west side, on the east side, everyone should be at LCA for game 6, because you get this thing back to Madison Square Garden, where the Pistons have won once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You get that back to Madison Square Garden, game 7, anything can happen. Every single person in the state of Michigan should be at game 6. Should absolutely be at game 6. This game, look, let's take a step back for a second. I'm losing my voice already. I was screaming the whole the whole watch party. This series really, this series has been, look, just take a step back from being a Pistons fan, Knicks fan, whatever you are. This series really has been entertaining as hell. This has been by far the best series in the first round. This has been a nail biter literally every single game to the fourth, like literally every single game at the end of the fourth quarter has had everyone, Knicks fans, Pistons fans, just NBA fans on the edge of their seat. This has been an absurdly fun series to watch. So for this game to go the Pistons' way after what happened last game and to have a chance to extend the series where you easily could have counted yourselves out, they did what they had to do. They did what they had to do. And Cade Cunningham, your franchise player, after struggling through 3 quarters, that's what stars do. No matter how much they're struggling, they still show up when you need them. No matter what happened in the game before, no matter what happened the possession before, the quarter before, the half before, you show up in that fourth quarter when you are needed most. And Cade absolutely did that for this team. And he made sure that they were going back to the 3-1-3 with a chance to still win this series, despite getting game 4 completely taken from them. Let's go, man. Let's absolutely go, bro. Let's go.